Getting the band back together can be a hard thing. There's many things you need to research, like, are you still popular? Have you got enough to fund it? And hope that you live up to the hype and don't disappoint your fans. The same can be said for rock band's return to gaming. It's been 5 years since the fad of playing plastic guitars died out, and the last time we had a main entry in the franchise. This is the first entry for current gen, so there's a big hype surrounding whether it still has the same magic as back in the day. You were either a Rock Band or a Guitar Hero player, as both franchises were pretty similar, but now its rival has successfully rebooted its own franchise. Rock Band has decided to stick with what fans want and offer more the same as what it did 5 years ago. Unlike Guitar Hero, this isn't just a guitar-only game. There are drums, microphones, and guitar players can also play bass, which you can't actually do in Guitar Hero Live. So from the get-go, Rock Band 4 is more multiplayer friendly, allowing up to 4 players to play instruments and 3 player vocals. I got the guitar and game bundle, and the guitar is really solidly made, and actually looks more like a guitar than what the Guitar Hero guitar does. Though the game is a bit on the expensive side, there's plenty of fun to be had. First thing I used to do with a Rock Band game was to go straight into quick play and start rocking out to all the game's soundtrack. And here the game's soundtrack is slightly small compared to older Rock Band games with only 65 tracks, but saying that, there is a pretty good diversity in the game's soundtrack, including songs like Friday I'm in Love from The Cure to 2015's most overplayed song Uptown Funk. The game does offer a good mix of classic, modern and indie tunes, but it would have been nice if there was more. But saying that, it is better than Guitar Hero Live's on disc soundtrack. And if you want more songs, you have a massive online music store where there is over 1,000 songs you can buy and add to your collection. If this is your first Rock Band game or you've switched consoles since last gen, you will end up needing to buy more songs as the 65 tracks will only last you so long. Returning players who have saved data from the other entries will be able to transfer all the songs from previous games to Rock Band 4, so veteran players will end up having a massive song catalogue. For a franchise that has lied dormant for half a decade, it hasn't changed much gameplay wise. It's still hitting the right coloured notes and strumming at the same time, and it's amazing to see how fresh and fun it still is after all this time. There is a new freestyle solo mechanic, which switches the scripted solo for your own imagination. There is a guideline you can follow and you will gain points, but if you go experimental you don't get any. It's a nice new layer to the gameplay that adds a nice personal touch to each song. Different game mode wise, there isn't much here. There's the career mode, which is where your user generated band starts off from the bottom and work their way to the top. It's pretty standard stuff, but the writing is actually quite funny, and there are choices on what career path you choose. There is also, thanks to an update, brutal mode, which is where the notes come down at a great speed and will vanish, and you'll have to guess when you'll need to play the notes. It's a fun mode that's very hard, but it's a mode that isn't really needed. Rock Band 4 is missing a fair bit of content and features. The lack of any practice mode and online multiplayer is disappointing, but Harmonix have stated that this is going to be the only Rock Band game of the generation and will have constant updates, which will add new features and songs to the game, so it will be an ever-growing experience. Graphically, the game's visual style is not much different to previous entries. It just looks nice and tidy thanks to being on a more powerful console. Now time to wrap things up with a conclusion. Rock Band 4 may certainly seem like a step back from previous entries, but it's a game that'll build up and get bigger and better over time. The 65 song track list is decent, but it's a little bit too short for my liking. The career mode is fun and has some great writing. The multiplayer, which is one of the best local multiplayer experience on current gen consoles. And while it's great to have Rock Band back, it would have been nice if there was a little bit more. In its current state, Rock Band 4 gets a 7.5 out of 10 with the title of good.